Yay! Your mind is incredible. Working one way, it can carry you forward to incredible success. Working another way, it can produce total failure. Your mind is sensitive. Just like your body, it can either be incredibly strong or incredibly weak. Let's figure out why the mind thinks the way it does and use it to our advantage. My name is Christian Brown, and this is the Encyclopedia of Awesome. Millions of people are diet conscious. Every year we spend millions on diet programs and pills and supplements and minerals and all kinds of things for our body. And we all know why. Through nutritional research, we've learned that the body reflects what you put into it. So we know that if we put in good things, then we'll have better stamina. We'll be more resistant to disease. We'll be less likely to get sick. So of course it makes sense that we should make sure to put good things in our body. But what about our mind? Well, your mind is the same way, right? The body is what the body is fed. Similarly, the mind is what the mind is fed. So it's pretty good you're watching these videos, am I right? Alright, seriously though, mind food is your environment. Your conscious and subconscious thought are completely being influenced by all the things that are around you all the time, the people you interact with, the places you go, what your experiences are. That is your mind food. And the mind food we intake determines our habits, our attitudes, our personality. Right? Imagine if you were born in another country. What would that be like? Who would you be like today? Would you have the same religion? Would you eat the same foods? Would you be wearing the same clothing or be interested in the same types of entertainment? Chances are, you'd be a completely different person than you are today. And it's because of your environment. You grew up in a completely different place, so you have a completely different personality. More importantly, the size of your thinking, your goals, your attitudes, your personality are formed by your environment. If you hang out with negative people, it's going to make you more negative. If you hang out with petty people, you're going to develop petty habits. On the bright side, if you hang out with big thinkers, you'll learn to think bigger. And if you hang out with ambitious people, you'll become more ambitious. So what can we do? Step 1, recondition yourself for success. Put yourself in environments that cause you to grow. The main obstacle between you and your dreams is the belief that major accomplishments aren't possible for you. This attitude stems from all the suppressive forces that direct our thinking. Think about when you were a kid. As children, we all set high goals, and we made plans to conquer the unknown, to be leaders, to achieve positions of huge importance, to do exciting and wonderful things, to become wealthy and famous. We set out to be the first, the biggest, and the best. And we believed we could get there. But then what happened? Long before we got old enough to actually start working on these great goals, a multitude of negative forces went to work on us. All manner of people told us things like, it's foolish to think you can do that. It's impractical. It just can't be done. You've got to have money to go places. Or maybe you're too young or you're too old. And regardless, you hear that no matter what your age is. As a result of being bombarded with the "you can't get ahead, so why even try" propaganda, people get stuck in one of 3 places. First, there are those people who have surrendered. Right? There are these people who they've just gotten to that point in life where they don't really believe they can have great success. And so they've simply resigned themselves to a mediocre but safe job. And they're just going to live out their days doing just enough to be fine. Then there's the second group of people. And these are the people who have partially surrendered. They grew up and they got a decent job and they planned and prepared and believed they could have great success and they were going for it. But after maybe a decade or so, all the suppressive forces have continually pushed them down and they've never gotten their big break, and they finally just resign themselves to where they are in their life and believe that, it's just too much work to have great success. It's just not worth it anymore. And then there's people like you and me. These are the people who never surrender. And by golly, am I glad you're one of them. You're in the top 2 or 3% of people who never let pessimism dictate what you're going to do. You don't believe in surrendering to all the negative forces out there trying to hold us down. You live and breathe success, and you're happiest of all the people because you accomplish the most. We find life stimulating, rewarding, and worthwhile. We look forward to each new day and each new encounter with other people as adventures to be fully lived. Now, in order to stay in this group, we must fight off all the negative influences that are affecting us in our environment. Right? Imagine this. You tell several of your average friends that one day you're going to be vice president of your company. Most of your friends will probably be like, whoa, dude, like, you poor guy, that's not how the way this world works. Right? It's just not going to happen. And behind your back, they might even be like, is he crazy? Does he even know that that's not a thing that can even happen? Now assume you repeat that same statement to the president of your company. One thing's for sure, he's not going to laugh. In fact, probably he's going to look at you and wonder, is this fellow serious? Big men don't laugh at big ideas. Remember that people who tell you it cannot be done are always mediocre people. They have mediocre success. They have a mediocre life. They've not done anything great. Don't let them poison your mind. You must develop a defense against the type of people who try to convince you why you can't. Accept their advice only as a challenge to prove that you can do it. Be extra cautious about this. Don't let negative thinking people or negators destroy your plan to think yourself to success. Negators are everywhere, and they seem to delight in sabotaging the positive progress of others. Don't take it personally. Often the remarks made in your direction aren't so personal as you might at first think. They're merely a projection of the speaker's own feeling of failure and discouragement. So don't let negative thinkers pull you down to their level. Cling to people who think progressively and move upward with them. Birds of a feather do flock together. How we think is directly affected by the groups that we're in. Be sure to be in the flock that thinks right. Thanks so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and as always, whatever you're going to do, make it happen now.